Spreadstreet is a tool that allows traders of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to get some really advanced, really complete data sets about prices and everything you can think of. Traders will know what I'm talking about and what they want. It allows you to download the data sets in a CSV format, which then you can import into Excel, Google Sheets, whatever. I had a great conversation with John Young, the creator. Start out talking about a whole lot about what Spreadstreet is and trading cryptocurrencies, and then he gets into a really inspirational personal story of his about how he started this company and the milestones he made for himself. So even if you're not going to be a trader now or anytime soon, I really encourage you to watch this interview in case you ever want to be an entrepreneur in general, or even in the cryptocurrency world. So enjoy. Thanks for coming on, John. If you could just give us kind of the short elevator pitch for Spreadstreet. What is it and what problem is it trying to solve?
Yeah, absolutely. So Spreadstreet itself is a platform. It allows the user to download, thousands of historical Bitcoin data sets on demand, and they come right in tab delimited CSV form, which is something that I know probably you and a lot of your viewers are, they work in CSV or they definitely have in their, programming and learning that they have done. Most of our users, most of Spreadstreet's users are highly proficient in spreadsheet software such as Excel and Google Sheets. They may not necessarily have that, programming side to them. So it's much better for them inside of a spreadsheet. They're much more comfortable there. And so we allow to have those data sets basically go right into, they can download right into, there's a spreadsheet or, with in the future, actually probably within the next week or so, we'll have an Excel plugin that will allow them to just automatically put it right in there, not have to go and even just click on the website itself. We also do have bonus features such as we do have a news aggregator as well as a calendar, which is, details some of the upcoming events. And all of these features are in the main platform, itself that the user can just go in. They have their news aggregation, they have their calendar, and they have all of the thousands of data sets that they can go and just download. And so, the main problem that this platform itself solves is that, it's kind of a pain going and copying, going to each of these different data or websites and copy and pasting data over and over again. That itself becomes extremely cumbersome. And so we have reduced the steps that it takes in order to get data into the analysis platform of choice. And in this case is going to be Excel. Obviously, in the future, we'll look to expand to, different platforms itself. But right now it is kind of the Excel, Google Sheets, spreadsheet areas. That's the platform of choice. And, along with that, getting professional grade data is expensive. And, it's only going to get worse in this space. I mean, as cryptocurrency, continues to gain steam, and right now it's on a damn near unstoppable path. Once you start getting a lot of the institutional money into it, that sort of thing is only going to get worse. And so, Spreadsheet's own long-standing philosophy is to always be affordable to the individual investor, the individual trader, not getting, tailoring to the large guys, kind of staying more towards the smaller individual investor.
Yeah, that brings up a very good point. This industry is growing incredibly fast. A lot of people that I've seen that are getting into it don't necessarily have a finance background.
Right.
You see it as cool tech, and they're kind of getting into trading and playing around with that. And they see some of these online exchanges, and it seems like there's a lot of information there. What would you tell those people is the value of downloading all these data sets and working with it in Excel, which is obviously a much more powerful platform?
Right, exactly. And so, that's kind of I would say that the big thing is customization. Okay, so, one of the reasons why you would like to rather have the data yourself and then in a platform that you're much more familiar with is customization. So say, you're going through, if you're going to like a regular website and they have all their technical indicators, they have all their features, but they don't allow like minutia changes. And what I mean by that is, so if you look at, say, like just Bollinger Bands, for example, you can do periods. You can do it like one period, 1, 2, 3, they usually have it defaulted at 20 when you go see it on trading charts. If somebody wants to get even more granular than that, they're not able to do it when they go to a lot of these websites. And so if you have the data yourself and you can build the tools yourself, and all you really need is just the data and in its raw form, that's where you start to see a lot of customization. That's where you start to see a lot of modification, and that's where the traders really will find the opportunities that other people are not going to see when everybody's looking at the same thing.
Yeah, great. So is it safe to assume that, like, if someone's downloading a spreadsheet and then working with it locally, is it safe to assume they're not necessarily like day traders in the formal sense, maybe looking for some larger trends, or how does that work?
So it's funny because I would say right now, they would be more of a swing trader. So someone that's going to be trading over, a couple of days, maybe over a couple of weeks. However, the beauty of something like Excel, so Excel, by the way, is going to be around forever. It's never going away. Google Sheets going to be around forever, never going away. And, the beauty of it is that they can be customized so heavily that you can pretty much do anything in them once it eventually gets built. So you will see eventually people that will be day trading in Excel, because people do that now in equities. People do that now in ETFs and commodities, everything. You don't see it yet in the cryptocurrency space because it is so new, but I guarantee you will see it. Now, with that being said, if you go even towards like the programming languages like Python, for example, I mean, absolutely, you'll be day trading, in Python. And our data sets, you still could even use our data sets because, we do offer tick data sets for, if you're doing day trading. We just added some 5-minute bars from Poloniex that are there, 15-minute, 30-minute. So we do actually have them. We're adding more and more every day. And then, as we go forward, and a lot of the, future customizations that we have are just going to make it easier and easier to get data into your analysis platform of choice.
Great. I didn't actually know you had 5-minute stuff there. That's awesome.
Yep. Well, we just added it, so.
Yeah. So I guess on the other side of the equation, how far back do the data sets you have go?
Yeah, and that's actually gonna, and so we have thousands of data sets right now, and so that varies wildly between all of the data sets. However, I would say the one that we have that goes back the farthest would be our BNC liquid index. So that's actually Brave New Coins liquid index. We do provide that as part of our premium plan, but that one goes back to 2010. That one goes back the farthest of all the data sets that we have. Now, I would say on the majority, most of the data sets are clustered around 2013, 2014. But that one does specifically go back to 2010, and that is a professional institutional grade type data set. Okay,
great. And your website says Bitcoin a lot, but it is definitely more than Bitcoin, right? It is. Is it everything on the Poloniex index, or?
Yes. So, well, right now we have kind of some self-selected ones on Poloniex. It will be all of the ones on Poloniex soon. Most of the copy on our website is dedicated to Bitcoin because that seems to be what everybody is searching for these days.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one where you have most of the people gravitating towards. And then, once they start to learn about Bitcoin, it seems to open up the learning of all of the other cryptocurrencies that are out there. Now, it's funny because an original idea I had for this, and I posted a Reddit post that detailed this, but I wasn't targeted enough. So the problem was I was too broad. And so the reason why you see the copy there is now it's much more targeted to a specific audience.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Yep.
Yep.
So, I mean, why are you doing this? What's kind of your personal story? What got you into cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a long one. So
go for it.
Let's sit back and just, just let me talk for a little bit here. Back in November of 2016, I was looking for a change at my current job. I was working as a financial analyst for a Fortune 500 company. Through the interviewing process, I managed to land a new position at a consulting firm, and I told my current job that I would be leaving in a month or so. So naturally, they started looking for my replacement. They found my replacement rather quickly, and about a week later, the consulting firm called me and said the partners had implemented a hiring freeze, and the position I was granted was no longer available. So with my replacement already having been hired, I was SOL. And in February of 2017, I was actually let go from my cushy corporate job in finance, where I had worked for the past 10 years. Admittedly, I had become complacent and did need a serious change. I was given a few months to look for a job while employed, but since I had not kept up my learning on the side, I found it difficult to move into a similar position that paid close to what I was making, due to the other candidates just being more qualified. You know, I mean, if you're going applying for a job, you had 100, 150 people applying for the same job. You know, you really had to stand out. And because of my, like I said, admitted complacency, that learning had slowed to a bit, and so now I was in this position. But you know, to tag along with that, ever since I can remember, I'd wanted to start a business. However, the demands of my job had made it difficult, not impossible, but difficult to start something. And so looking at the situation as glass half full, it seemed that this all might be happening for a reason. You know, I also had the benefits of not having any kids yet, and my car was going to be paid off in March, so that was another big one. And so, you know, I spent the first half of my 20s learning everything I could about the stock market, options, trading, anything similar. But the second half of my 20s, my learning fell off. And when I picked it up again, I found it very difficult to get good data unless you were a programmer, which I was not, rich, I was not, or you worked for a company that had access to it, which no, I did not. And obviously there were going to be rules against that anyway for personal use. I was very good with Excel and, you know, highly knowledgeable with basic to advanced financial concepts. I knew how to value companies. I did not know how to get good data. You know, I was very interested in programming and automation concepts, but did not have years of time to learn how to code. So I basically worked towards the simple idea of what Spreadstreet is now. However, it wasn't initially tailored towards Bitcoin. It was tailored towards equities and more so around that. And so I built an initial product, showed it to quite a bit of people, and a recurring theme that kept coming up was, you know, this would actually be good in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. Like obviously Bitcoin's the one that came up the most, but others would say, well, what about this for Ethereum? What about this for, you know, some of the other coins? You know, I decided to go see what the demand for Bitcoin data looked like, and come to find out it was staggering. I mean, Bitcoin is now the #5 most searched term on Google. And for one of the keyword explorer tools that I use, they were coming up with heavy results and low competition. And thus Spreadsheet pivoted into the cryptocurrency space. Now, what I had now was a product. I had seed capital, AKA my severance, and time because I didn't have a job anymore. So I presented these pieces to my wife, who was not very happy. Rightfully so, she was worried. You know, starting a business is risky, daunting, and ruthless, in all honesty. And if I was going to do this, she wanted an exit plan. So we actually worked together and came up with 3 milestones for me. So while aggressive, they had provided me with an actionable framework to work towards. So for example, #1, I had to get 1 sale within the first 2 months. #2, I had to get 100 sales by the 6th month. And then the third is grow at 10% per month for months 6 through 12. So what that looked like was 1 sale by April 13th, 100 by August 13th, and then 175 paying customers by February 13th of 2018. And so the first milestone I actually completed on the last possible day. And if I did not complete it, I would have had to go back and look for a cubicle job. So that was a very happy day for me, if you couldn't tell. So now I'm currently working towards the 100 sales by August 13th, and the Reddit post that you saw me on, we had quite a bit of signs from that, so things are looking pretty good.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but
I think, yeah, from an entrepreneurial perspective, it's a lot of people don't set milestones like that. And I think it's really important.
It is.
And actually, once you mentioned that, I remember seeing your post in Our Entrepreneur now.
Yes.
I didn't know it was the same person.
That's me. And so, you know, it is very important, like you said, to have actionable goals. Not only that, it's amazing the things that you can do when you have these goals, because you should have seen me in that, you know, last week, the things I was, you know, what I was able to accomplish. And that almost was like, now that I know I can do this, you know, what, you know, going forward, now I know how, you know, under pressure, how I can actually work. And this is how I should be working at all times.
Yeah. So speaking of working, what is Spreadstreet working on? What do you have planned for the next, you know, 6 months to 2 years?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be constantly adding new data sets to the platform. But I think what our biggest focus is going to be is developing, you know, data analysis tools. The one, like I said, the one coming up in the next week or two is going to be the Excel plugin. I'm very excited about that. I've been testing it, and it is fast. It's awesome. It brings stuff in so quickly, and it allows users to automatically download the data sets directly into Excel. So they're not even going to have to, even the steps that we took out originally, they're not even going to have to do that anymore. It's just going to go right in there, and they can hit a button. It'll refresh it, every single day. And then that's where they can start building these amazing tools within their spreadsheets, within Excel, within Google Sheets, having the data itself automatically refresh. And, that way you don't have to keep constantly copy pasting and putting things, in their certain places. We also do have plans for a Google Sheets plugin, and then as well as packages for some of the more popular programming languages such as Python and R. So those are kind of the ones we have on the horizon. So I would say the ultimate goal of ours, obviously, is for our users to make money in the crypto space. I mean, that's really what we want our users to do. So our entire efforts are centered around getting our users the tools that they need to be successful.
Yeah, that's great. And you got in at the perfect time to be able to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that note, where do you kind of see the cryptocurrency world in general going?
Right. That's a difficult question. The astronomical price growth of Bitcoin kind of signals the increasingly widespread acceptance of digital currency in general. The markets now recognize that Bitcoin's a better store of value than gold, being particularly useful in facilitating and securitizing financial transactions. So, as regulators and countries catch up to the growing demand and start to legally acknowledge Bitcoin as a legal tender, we can only expect the price to follow. Bitcoin's been on a great run this year, but I attribute the very recent growth, and a lot of others attribute the very recent growth to the SEC reconsidering its decision to deny the Bitcoin ETF proposal by the Winklevi brothers. The acceptance of Bitcoin and other currencies, ETFs, it's honestly inevitable. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time before they get accepted by the SEC, and then you're gonna once that happens, and you start seeing the flood of institutional money coming into these ETFs, that's when liquidity is gonna skyrocket, and then it's gonna be amazing. It really is. And this is the latest. That's just the latest in a string of good news stories for Bitcoin, the world's most valuable digital currency, which has also been accepted as a legal form of payment in Japan.
Yeah, that's huge.
So I'm also of the opinion that the entire digital currency industry is on a tear. And it's pushed Bitcoin's price up. Dash is up big. So too is Ethereum. You can see an altcoin ETF becoming a reality in the not too distant future. So, I mean, at this point, cryptocurrency is unstoppable. I mean, whether that means the currencies themselves are adopted or the blockchain technology being adopted across other industries, nothing's going to get in its way.
Yeah. And to find out about news about all that stuff, I heard about this great resource called Spreadstreet.
There it is, man. Yeah, absolutely. We also have our news aggregator. So, right now we have around 30 publications that are on what we call our Explore page. You can add it to the RSS feed that we have directly within the platform, so you can stay up to date on everything that's happening, which I have actually that's what I use every day.
Right. There you have it. Check out spreadstreet.io. That's SPREADSTREET.io. A lot of good information there. And check out some of the other videos on this channel for more interviews with people doing really cool and innovative stuff in the cryptocurrency and blockchain community. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.